Sorry made, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled waters, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrows, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled water, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Let the sun walk on the way, shine, shine. Let the sun walk down the way, shine, 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 shine.
Never lose your faith in the brightness of your eyes. Never let the sorrow bring you down. Put a carry smile in your beautiful face. This way is much easier to go. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Forget about your problems, enjoy living your life. Open up your heart for love to come inside. Jesus by your side, and with Him close to you, you'll be glad and never become blue. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life
always good of getting together. It's always good to do the good. I do believe the world can be better, and I know that you believe it too. Papa, Mama, brothers and sisters, let's get ready for our new dawn. This is the time for those big changes we have all been waiting for so long. Listen to this call. The time is right now. Here is the place. So let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. It's always good of getting together. It's always good to do the good. I do believe the world can be better, and I know that you believe it too. Papa, Mama, brothers and sisters, let's get ready for our new dawn. This is the time for those big changes we have all been waiting for so long. Listen to this call. The time is right now. Here is the place. So let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. Listen to this call. The time is right now. Here is the place. So let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace.
Helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations just have to put love in action. Helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our public meeting. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concafras Americas through their Facebook and also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube channels. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. New classes will be starting on fall. More information will be given soon. Please stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The gospel at home is an effective support for your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. By posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibration. It can be an incarnate or discarnate person. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. We also like to let you know about the coming Alta de Souza Fraternal Meeting on 20 and 21st of May in Winnipeg. The main topic is Charity the Way, and the other topics include Spiritual Center, family, vices and depression, and the practice of the Alta de Souza Fraternal campaign. More information and links for registration will be posted soon. And now, I would like to invite our brother Publio to join us for the opening prayer.
Hello,
Hello,
Rodrigo.
Publio.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How
I-
about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you very much. I'm very happy for you invite me to do the initial prayer. So for this, you can see my smile. I'm happy every time that I have to connect with God. I'm happy. So for this, would like to ask you, if you wish, close your eyes to facilitate the connection with the good spirits, with God, with Jesus Christ, our Master. In this moment, ask the permission to start our meeting tonight. Allow the good spirits to be with us. And also, all the ones that stay with us during the week, waiting for this precious moment to talk about the gospel accord your love. We'd like to say thank you for the opportunity. Bless all of us today and forever. So be it.
Thank you very much, Publio, for this kind words, for this beautiful prayer.
Thank you.
Okay, let's continue. Today we will be having a talk about corporeal and spiritual kinship, chapter 14, from the Gospel according to Spiritism, honor your father and mother, item 8. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our speakers of the night, Larissa from London, Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Larissa.
Hi, good evening, Rod. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm so glad to be here once again to study with you and with the ones that are watching us and that will be watching us in the future, right?
That's
About
right.
this important topic. So, thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. I wish you a great talk.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Let me just share my screen here. So today, as Rod already mentioned before, we will be continuing our studies of the Gospel according to Spiritism with chapter 14, Honor Your Father and Your Mother, and it's item 8, which has the title Corporeal and Spiritual Kinship. So I'd like to start today's reflection remembering one of the passages from Jesus that we have as base of this chapter. So let's read together. Then Jesus' mother and brothers arrived. Standing outside, they sent someone in to call him. A crowd was sitting around him, and they told him, "Your mother and your brothers are outside looking for you." And Jesus said, "Who are my mother and my brothers?" he asked. Then he looked at those seated in a circle around him and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and my sister and my mother." So this passage is under the Gospel of Mark, chapter 3, verse 31 to 35. And this is a very strong passage from the Gospel and a bit controversial if we think about it, because if we just read that and get the literal meaning of what Jesus was saying, we would probably think that he had lost his mind because he was referring to people that were clearly strangers to him, right, as his corporeal family. However, we know that Jesus would use every single opportunity to teach us about the spiritual world and would use analogies or stories that would resonate to the people from that time, but also would keep the meaning throughout the years. So all the generations that would go further, right, would learn from these teachings. So basically, this teaching will bring to us today two different notions of family, right? The corporeal and the spiritual one. So now let's start our talk today and see what the spirits bring us in the message to clarify this passage. So the spirits start saying that blood ties do not necessarily create bonds between spirits. The body comes from the body, but the spirit does not proceed from the spirit, since the spirit already existed before the formation of the body. So what does this actually mean? Even though if we think on our reincarnation process, there is a whole plan that is done before a spirit can reincarnate, right? And to live a life here on earth, on the material existence. And the family that we are born within in our life here in earth is chosen basically based on the one that will offer us the perfect condition and opportunities for our progress, right? So we know that there is no randomness on the family that we are born here when we come to this life existence, right? But what the spirits are saying here is that the bloody ties does not mean that we are going to naturally have a consolidated bond with these family members. And they explain that the body comes from the body, but the spirit does not come from the spirit. So our spirit was created by God, and that's why they says, right, like that the spirit was already there. The spirit already existed even before the formation of the body, because God created the spirit simple and ignorant. And it's through the multiple numbers of reincarnations that we became the version that we are right now. And they continue saying that the parents do not create the spirit of the child. They do nothing more than supply the material wrapping, meaning the body, although it is their duty to help the intellectual and moral development of the child in order to further its progress. So basically, our mother and our father, our earthly mother and father, are responsible to provide the supply to generate the body that the spirit will reincarnate. But with the spirit, it's not the same. It's not like we get 50% of the spirit of the mother and then 50% of the spirit of the father, and the mixture of that becomes our spirit. No, right? So the spirit existed before and will continue to exist after we disincarnate. So in that sense, that doesn't mean that the family, the blood family, right? The corporeal family that we have here doesn't have any importance on our life. Because like I said before, if we are in the family that we are, it's because we needed to come in this family with these family members in order to have the best conditions and opportunity for what we wanted to develop in this specific life. And like the spirit says here, is that the family is responsible, especially the mother and the father. They are responsible, especially for the child, until it gets to they get to the age of maturity, right? So they are responsible to help that child intellectually, morally, to give the conditions, right? Like the needs that the child have to grow and develop. However, we can say that our spiritual family, that they can be incarnated with us or not, they can still be in the spiritual world, is the one that lasts longer, right? Because they will continue to exist even after they existed before. They are during our incarnation here, they are still in the spiritual world, and once we go back to the spiritual world, they will be there for us as well. So the spiritual bond is way more stronger than the corporeal one. So those incarnated in the same family, especially as close relations, are very often congenial spirits linked by past relationships, which express themselves during their earthly lives by their reciprocated affections. So what the spirits are saying here is that usually our family ties here on earth are the ones with spirits that we had already experiences before. Like, this is not our first time incarnating together, and that we have some kind of sympathy with them, right? So we have lived many experiences with them. So it's like we collect many memories and many different feelings, right? So they are usually spirits that are in the same path of us. And when it comes to incarnate in this material experience together as close relations, it gives us the opportunity to continue the progress in our spiritual journey together. But it can also happen that these people, meaning the family ties, are complete strangers to each other, or they may be distant from each other due to past aversions, which while on earth are translated into mutual antagonism, which serve as probation. So there's a lot of information here. Let's break down to understand what they are saying to us. So basically, they are saying that we can also have in our close family spirits incarnated that are complete strangers for us. Different from the grand majority that we already had many lives together. We can have spirits that are brought into our group family to either learn from us or either teach us different perspectives or help us to see life in a different way. So even though we know that reincarnation, there is no formula, there is no recipe, right? We know that it's possible, and God allows us to have different examples close to us. So, for example, let's say that we have a family where they don't show emotions. They maybe it's from the past lives they have been together, but they are not developing those virtues. They are not developing that affection, right? So maybe God will allow to come a spirit that doesn't have really like a spiritual bond with this family. However, it's a spirit that already develops some of the virtues and some of the experiences that this family needs to help them develop and grow, right? And even though we can see those examples outside our family, right? We can have different examples with our friends or within our workplace. However, when it's incarnated together with us as close relation, it end up being a more impactful, let's say, example for us to learn or even to teach, because the opposite can happen as well, right? So a group of family that had developed already some virtues, a spirit that, even though it's not connected, but has needs to learn from those types of virtues, God can allow this spirit to come into this family to learn from them, right? But like I said, it's not a formula, it's not a recipe, right? But it's just for us to understand how those relations and connections can happen. And the other example that they give us is that the spirits can be distant from each other, meaning that maybe they had already past relations in other lives, but it wasn't good, right? So they it served as a probation. Why? Because the spirits would need to come as a family, and like I said, the bond as a corporeal family is more stronger in the sense for the spirits that needs to repair their relationship with each other. It's stronger than if it was in different families, let's say, right? So that's why they say that sometimes this aversion will be translated as antagonism in the same family. So it's basically Spiritism gives us the understanding that we are immortal spirits, that we come to this material existence to progress, to evolve, to develop virtues, and to expiate any harm that we might cause to other person, right? To other spirits. And the law of love is the one that obliges us to be accountable for our mistakes, right? And we need to address that and repair with our brothers and sisters. The Spirit says that the majority of us will only be able to redeem that through reincarnation with the ones that we had done some wrongdoing, right? And so every opportunity that you have to repair those relations, right? If you feel that if you feel something, like they say, right, mutual antagonism with someone that is close to you, it means that maybe you have the opportunity to deal with that in this life, right? So we should be grateful for those opportunities because even though it's hard, right? Because it's a probation, still it's an opportunity, right? To try our best to repair this relation, right? With the ones, especially the ones that comes close to us as close relations. And they continue to explain that the real family ties are not those of blood, but those of mutual sympathy and the communion of ideas, which holds spirits together before, during, and after their incarnations. So this is very strong, right? So real family ties are not necessarily connected to us by the blood, but it's the mutual sympathy and communion of ideas that makes our bond stronger. And it's important to notice that, like I was telling before, the spiritual bond surpasses the corporeal ties, right? Because it will hold the spirits together before the incarnation, during the incarnation, and even after, right? So that's why the spiritual bond is stronger. In the Spirit's book, spiritual sympathy becomes intelligible when Kardec questions the spirits about how people become fond of each other. So the question is 484, and Kardec asks, do spirits become fond of certain people in preference? And the answer is, good spirits sympathize with good men, or likely to improve themselves. The inferior spirits with the vicious men, or who may become them. Hence this affection, because of the similarity of sensations. So, like they were saying here, right? The mutual sympathy and communion of ideas, it's what brings the spirits together. So it means that we will attract the sympathy of spirits that vibrate and have the same feelings like us, right? So if we are acting according to the moral teachings, if we are trying our best to improve ourselves, we are likely to have the sympathy of the good spirits. And in this sense, it can be from our spiritual family, but it can also be spirits that doesn't really have a link with us, but sympathize with our with the same vibration that we are irradiating. But the contrary is also true. If we are nurturing our vices, if we are not putting into practice Jesus' teachings, we will probably be attracting the sympathy of inferior spirits. So the spirits continue saying that from this, it follows that two people born of different parents may be more like brothers or sisters than if they were of the same blood. So have you had this feeling of meeting someone new for the first time, like you never saw this person before, but once you start to knowing her and connecting with her, you just realize that you have such a strong connection, like you know that person for a long time? I guess everybody had that feeling before already. And they continue saying that these spirits, they can attract each other, search for each other, and feel so happy together. Whereas two blood brothers may be repelled by each other, as it's frequently seen. So this moral problem is one that only Spiritism can resolve through the explanation of the plurality of existence. So because of the past existence that we all have, we can meet someone for the first time and feel a strong connection with them, like we know them for a long time. And we also can come, like I said before, as a close relation, like as brothers in a same family, and feel a negative feeling, right? That you don't even know from where it comes. Maybe you will even feel like it's saying there, you will even want to repel that brother, right? conscious or unconscious, right? Because of this past experience in other lives, that we know that every time we reincarnate, we forget about all those past lives, right? But the spirit inside us has all the memories, right? And that's why we feel that energy, and we can either feel that we recognize that spirit as someone from our past that we really like, or someone from our past that we actually had a lot of bad experiences with them. So basically, there are two kinds of families: the family through spiritual ties, and family through corporeal ties. And they say that in the first case, these ties are durable and strengthened with purification. So with evolving, right? Developing, progressing. And it perpetuates in the spiritual world by means of the various migrations of the soul. And in the second case, these ties are fragile as the physical body itself, and they extinguishing them, and in many instances, even dissolving morally in the actual existence, right? So our body will ended up cease to exist, but our spirit will continue in the afterlife. And we are heading to the end of the talk today with a little bit of more, with the spirits explaining to us about the passage of the gospel that we read in the beginning. So they say that this was what Jesus was trying to make comprehensible when he said to his disciples, "Here is my mother and my brothers by spiritual ties, because all those who do the bidding of my Father, who is in heaven, are my brothers, my sisters, and my mother." So Jesus was saying about the spiritual ties. And it's important to note also that he added that all those who do God's will is also considered his family, right? So if we think that all spirits, all of us are child of God, we are a huge family, spiritual family, right? And if we are, like I say, if we are constantly trying to put the Jesus teachings into practice, we are trying to progress in our life, in a sense that we are developing virtues, we are trying our best with what we have, with all the experience that we have. It means that we are part of this huge family, right? Like Jesus said, like Jesus said that whoever does God's will be also his sisters, his mother, his brothers. And he also, the spirits also mention about the hostility felt by his blood brothers, because it's clearly expressed on the Gospel of Mark. And it says there that they had the intentions of laying their hands on Jesus under the pretext that he had lost his spirit or gone out of his mind. So Jesus, when on being informed of their arrival and knowing full well the sentiments they harbored against him, so Jesus already knew what were leading his brothers to talk with him in that moment. It was only natural for Jesus, speaking in spiritual terms, to refer to his disciples as his brothers and sisters. And that's why he used that experience, that situation, to teach us about the spiritual ties. And the spirits finalized this message saying that although his mother was accompanying his brothers, Jesus generalized the teachings, which in no way implies he intended to declare that his mother, according to the physical body, was nothing to him in spirit, nor that she deserved only indifference, as he proved on many other occasions. So this is very important to point out, as when we read just the literal meaning of the passage, we might think that Jesus was somehow being different to his mother or even not honoring her. However, he used that situation and generalized the teaching because she was with them. But as the spirits mention, and through the gospel, through Jesus' teachings, we can see that he has proven throughout his life that his mother, was an important figure to him, not only corporeal, but as spiritual speaking as well. And with this message today, I end the topic of today's talk. So thank you for your time, and I'm here for the questions and comments.
Hello, Larissa. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was really a great talk. And yeah, we have some comments and questions, but before we move to that, I like to mention that when Jesus said for us to love our neighbors as ourselves, and also always mention about all of us being brothers and sisters, and we have the same Father.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to hear from you. How can we transform those materials and blood ties and spiritual ones, knowing that the spiritual one is our goal, right? As you mentioned, how can we change? Because it's hard for all of us. Sometimes inside of our family, we don't have the same relationship that we have with friends outside of that. How can we move from the bloody only to the spiritual one?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, actually. But basically, it's that knowledge that if you come to that family, even though you don't think you are alike to them, that's a good indicative that maybe you have to try your best, right, to see them. And that's the importance of Jesus' teachings, right? To see them as a brother and sister, like spiritually, in the sense that yes, it may be feel as a probation, but if you think more broadly, and if you have that goal, like you said, to become a spiritual type, you will have to exercise your patience with them. You will have to have like meaningful time with them, really try your best to create a relationship and to understand their perspective, right? Because most of the times we know that people that suffered a lot in life, for example, they will have will hurt other people, right? So if you start to see in their perspective, and we are talking about like past experience, right? So maybe in this life your family, like you didn't actually had any major fight with your family, right? But it comes from past lives, right? So it's that understanding, have this understanding that um, we are not just a result of one life. We are a result of many, and we will still progress in many others. Give us this understanding of that we need to exercise our love, our patience, and see that brother or that sister or that mother or that father that maybe you don't have that connection with, really empathy. Use your empathy and try to put yourself in their shoes and understand their history as well, right?
Okay, great. Yeah, we need to cultivate that relationship. Okay, and that's well connected with one of the questions that we have from our brother Rodrigo
Mhm.
Villar, and he's asking, is it's possible that someone that we mistreated in our previous life becomes our family member? How should we deal in this circumstance?
Yes, it is possible. Like the Spirit says, right? It usually are people that we had already some linked in past lives. And like we were saying, we need to deal with the situation with the most patience that we have, applying the teachings of Jesus, the law of love, charity, indulgence, right? And know that we are imperfect as well. We also have our own things that we need to deal with, and it's always like that trade, right? Because if you are together in the same family, it's because you need to work on that, right? So it's always on both sides, but you are responsible for your part of the equation, right?
Okay, great, thank you. And you have another question from Publius Santos. He's saying, Spiritism is called the consoler, and we are very fortunate knowing the reincarnation law. This explains why we get so comfortable and happy with people that we are not in our bloodline, and sometimes having a hard time with siblings and related.
Yes, that's for sure. And yeah, that's why this talk today is really important to give us this understanding that we have these corporeal ties, but we also have the spiritual ties, right?
Okay, thank you very much for all this information. It was really a great talk, and I hope to see you soon back here.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Good night. Okay, let's continue with our. Okay, let's talk about the spiritual treatment. PASS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Paths help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with health positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make our prayer in preparation for the Pass, which will also be our closing prayer as well. Let's now close our eyes and elevate our thoughts to the ever living God, knowing that this night can be a great opportunity to restart our steps, to begin a new path in our life, receiving through our open hearts the positive energy from the passes, receiving the magnetized energy from the water that we'll drink after, knowing all the transformation depends on us in our attitude, the way you see, and following the words from Larissa on today's talk, transforming the difficult relationship that we may have in our family or even with friends in a spiritual one, renewing, redoing, and transforming with patience and all the good virtues, the better relationships that we will build from now and forever. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritist Canada and Continental Concafres Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from Spiritist Canada and the Spiritual Group Path of Light. I hope you are feeling better, full of energy, and you have a great night.
Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light.